All right, welcome to the Campus Pastor Collective. I'm your host, Mark Cartwright. As always, today I'm joined with new friend Jeremy Prather. He is a campus pastor at Lake Point Church. Jeremy, thank you for joining us today, and let's get things going. Let's start with one of my favorite questions to start with, which is, hey, how'd you become a campus pastor?
Mark, man, it's been good kind of getting to know you just a little bit. Thank you for having me on. And I told you this, man, but I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
6 years ago, I wish to goodness we would have found each other. Man, you could have
Right?
saved a lot of heartache.
This has been great.
Falling on my face. Speaking of falling on my face, I guess I'll answer your question. Man, I came from a bit of an unorthodox pathway. So I was in the Marine Corps, same as you, for a number of years, did 8 years, got out. And when I got out, I just knew I wanted to start my family. I knew the Lord, brother. Like I knew the Lord from a young age, for 9 years old. But for my time in the Marine Corps and in my early 20s, I was not chasing after the Lord or the things of the Lord. So when my wife and I got together, I knew that, we wanted to start a family. And the Lord began, man, he put some people in our life, brother, just some godly men and women. We figured out what godly community was, and that just drew us. So like we saw the Jesus in people, drew us back into church. Miles McPherson, Pastor Miles of the Rock Church in San Diego, California.
Okay.
Man, just big hats off to Pastor Miles and his ministry. And I came desperate for the Lord under that ministry. And then went into law enforcement from there. So I was with the U.S. Marshal Service for 12 years, and that's fugitives and gangs and sex offenders and honestly, just the sexy work of justice, right? I loved it. But then the Lord began to just break my heart when I saw, man, just how human, how messed up, how commonly
Broken people are. Yeah.
destructive and weird and flawed every single person is. And I saw myself and the people I was arresting. And I'm like, man, this dude's not bad. And I had this one informant. And and he was kind of a cowardly guy. Mark, I saw Jeremy in that dude.
Wow.
And I just connected with him. And I'm like, and the Lord just facilitated it. Had the chance to just walk through a relationship with that guy.
Wow.
From a meth head into a Jesus nut.
That's crazy.
Was baptized in the church and I tasted the goodness of the Lord. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Did, and that changed everything. And my heart started to beat for ministry. I think Toby Mac has a song, and I swear, man, I came up with this on my own. Toby,
shout out Toby Mac
for it, but man, it became like a fire in my bones.
Okay.
For the Lord and things that he was setting in front of me. So he just continued to put discipleship opportunities. I would fall on my face and I would try and I would just be, dude, this is the stuff. And then I was eventually called into ministry in 2019.
Okay.
That's awesome. Here at Lake Point.
Right here at Lake Point. Okay. That is awesome. That's good. So did you start out as campus pastor in your first real ministry role then?
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of, I was discipled by the former campus pastor. His name's Chris Berkeley, amazing guy. He's one of our XPs right now. And he just put opportunities in front of me. I blindly did. It was a yes to all those things. Student ministry, middle school boys. And
I did that for a season too, brother. That's rough. We're talking about real ministry.
It's like you don't even know. Oh, and then eventually he just said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about a spot." And I thought it was going to be a student pastor or something like that. And Mark, when you're called, so it was going to be a yes. If it was a facility manager, it was going to be a yes. Yeah. But it was this role.
I did actually. You say that I did facilities. That was one of my first roles, staff roles at this church I'm at now. I actually got fired from that role. That's a whole nother story for a different day. Nothing bad or anything. It was a timing thing and this, that, and another. It was a part-time role, but I got called back and then I became creative arts pastor and then campus pastor. So it wasn't a bad thing. It was a life thing at the time was not working out for either of us, but that's, I tell you what, he took the leadership concept of replacing, like you replace yourself. He took that seriously and literally replaced himself as campus pastor, huh?
He really
saw
did.
you and was like, man, this guy, I'm going to replace myself with this guy. That's a That's a good leadership role there. So when you came a campus pastor, what was probably one of the things that that was the biggest surprise for you? You were like, wow, like didn't expect that, didn't see that coming, didn't know that, maybe anything of that nature.
You know, I think today I would tell you this, that just the scope and breadth of the expectation from your people, from your
Hmm.
leadership, from the community on what the heck a campus pastor is actually supposed to do. Wait, who are you supposed to be? Like,
Yeah, that's true.
think about
That's fair.
this. You've got your leadership expecting one thing, your family, and there's questions, especially if it was new.
Hmm.
Some guys are stepping in and they're trying to figure it out. Maybe they're the only campus pastor in their organization. This other church has got a different model, and this other one's got a franchise model. So I think across the board, it was just the expectation. You are a shepherd. You're a somebody. I know you've got these stories, man, and everybody watching on this podcast has probably got these stories. But someone asked me to come over and bless after their cat passed away, to pray for their cat. Like it, you're. I don't know, man.
Not ready for it.
I
Some
didn't have
things they can't prep you for.
that. So it's things like that. Is just trying to figure out, hey, what is the role? Am I a public speaker? Yes, I am. Am I a counselor? No, not a professional counselor, but people don't know that. So they need you to be a counselor. They need you to be a coach. They need you to be a guide. They need you to be just have the ministry of presence. So all those different areas of professionalism that you really do have to get to a place where you're excellent at a wide array of things. Here's what I learned with that though, and I'm just kind of coming to learn this. I suppose 6 years in is that you can't be Mark can't be Jeremy can't be all those things to every person, and if we are, shame on us.
Correct. Yeah. No, 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 no. You're right.
We're
You're
s-
right.
we're not delegating, we're not empowering people of our church to be those things.
Yeah. Yeah. I just met with my leadership team at my campus yesterday, and that was one of the conversations was like, uh, we have to develop and equip, empower the things that literally Scripture tells us to do. Leaders inside the church, because it's the only way you'll ever grow as a church is because you can only lead so many people, you can only care for so many people, and so having those levels of leadership is such an important component, even in campus ministry.
Yeah.
So that leads us into kind of one of our topics today, which is kind of in the leadership realm, but it's kind of handling how do we handle some of the conflict and leadership tensions that happen in multi-site? Because for if we're honest, I mean, when you go multi-site, and this isn't like I'm not going to have a campus pastor who's going to be watching this and is going to be like, "Oh, I didn't expect him to say that." It's when you move to multi-site, you become more of an organization than any standalone church may ever consider themselves. Even though I think certain sizes you just automatically get there too, but definitely in multi-site, you become a organization model of some sort. You mentioned that kind of like whether it's a franchise model or one of the other 50 million multi-site models that's out there, you become an organization. Well, with that comes more people, more staff, more leadership, more personalities, more leadership styles, and more tension. So let's discuss some of this. And I love that this was one of your topics that you brought today because it's not one we've hit yet. And so, what is some let's start with the why. Why is conflict and tension more common besides the organization concept that we hit a couple of those? What do you think is the most common reason that we see this kind of tension in multi-site models?
I think that one of the primary reasons that most organizations because you're right, the church is more than an organization, but it's not less than an
Yeah.
organization.
It's
We
God's organization is what I always say. Like it's still an
yeah,
organization. It's God's, but it's an
absolutely,
organization.
absolutely. What we're selling is free, but
Yeah.
great. So I think that clarity, lack of
Ooh.
clarity in transition and
Okay.
and implementing new things. Uh, I'm not talking about necessarily with a vision.
Hmm.
Most campuses, most churches have a clear vision.
Okay.
Although I was sitting in a room, man, I was sitting in a room one time with other pastors, and one of the community leaders said, "Hey, what is let's just go around, share the vision for your church." I was like heartbroken.
I'm sure.
Out of a room of about 8 or 9 of us, 2 churches could clearly articulate
I'm
their vision.
not sadly, I'm not surprised. That's crazy, but I'm not surprised.
Even with that, so say you have got a crystal clear vision, change is baked in, as you scale, as you add people, even one person on a team. We know this. Patrick Lencioni talks a ton about this. Craig Rochelle talks about the dynamics of a team when you lose someone, when you add someone. And I think that we don't take the time, we being probably most multi-site churches, as I'm benchmarking and kind of learning, uh, to explain the why behind each of the transitions. Hey, what's our focus in this specific area? What's our outreach focus this year? That's going to drive why we say yes to this, no to this. And I think having a decision making process or grid is going to be pivotal. So for us at Lake Point, it's Jesus, church, individual. Jesus, church, individual. What does Jesus say about it? Well, then that's what that's what we're doing,
That's
man.
the base.
That's home base, right? Don't get too far. And then what is the best thing for the church? So your campus needs XYZ, so many dollars for this thing over here. But this other campus that's getting ready to go out into this rural community needs this other thing, this role,
Mhm.
this thing. And so that's going to produce a greater amount of fruit. So what's best for the church? And then it's the
Wow.
individual. And even during membership, when we're assimilating people, one of the things we try to explain is, hey, this is going to be, you're going to experience, the only thing that's not going to change much might be the vision and Jesus. Everything outside of that, like, hold on tight, man. Welcome to Lake Point. We're going to change. We're going to stretch. We're going to grow. We're going to ask you to get uncomfortable.
That's good.
And so even if you have a good idea as an individual within a church, we want to hear you. Man, let's talk about it. Come on, give me those ideas. And we might say no because it's not the right thing based on where we're going and what might not be best for the church.
No, it's really good. I like the way you guys do that, and I think probably a lot of us could relate to verbalize differently, but I love the way you guys did that. It's the Jesus, it's the church, it's the me. And then yeah, you're not married to anything. Like we always say, we got no golden calves around here. Like the
That's right.
mission is the only thing that is consistent. Everything else can change. The way we do worship can change, the way we do kids men can change, the way we do student ministry just did change, right? And that was fun. That we went through some bumps and things of that nature when that happened, but yeah, you don't get married to anything. I love that. And it is the why. Like, what is some ways that you've, as a campus, when change or something has shifted, whatever, inside the Lake Point Church, what are some ways that you found, of communicating that why, been successful? What is some practicality in that?
That I think one of the first things that we in any leadership role, so all the campus pastors, all the operations pastors who may be checking this out, like if you were in a campus leadership position, I think we owe it to our team to do the best we can behind closed doors or offline to find out more. Hey, like my boss, he's amazing. His name's Jeremy. Good name.
Great guy.
And he's one of the things I respect the mess out of him for is he'll call, "Hey guys, we're about to talk about this, and I just want you
That's
to
good.
know here's the why."
Oh,
And
that's
if he
good.
doesn't, we're going to seek that out. When it's not possible all the time, especially in a fast-moving organization, in depending on what season you're in,
Mhm.
you just can't always go to the team and say, "Hey guys, let's debate this. Let's talk about this." So decisions are flying, and in those seasons, I think it's just good to prep our people, prep our teams, and say, "Hey, guys, here's what we're about to do. Here's the amazing thing that we're getting ready to see. Here's what that looks like practically and tactically. Here's what we're gonna get. Um, uh, the play call late. You expect it late, and if it comes early, it's going to be great. And we've got so much better about that. Things like that. So just the team knows, hey, this is where we're all going. And so there's going to be some symptoms, some
Mhm.
stretches, some growing pains, all that. So I think just making sure there's clarity with the team, getting my key leadership on my right and left at the, I don't know what your leadership team looks like, but for us, we're a team of 12
Okay. That's
at
your campus?
campus.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I've got an operations pastor. I've got what we had called our campus coordinator. And so we bring those guys in and, hey, let's talk about as we look forward and do the building and planning and all that stuff. I need to make sure that they're telling me the things I'm not seeing and get buy-in from them,
Mhm.
buy-in from them first. And they say, hey, when we roll this out to the team, it's the whole debate, decide, deploy, and defend. Debate it. I know, I hear you. Yes, let's talk about that stuff. Great. Well, it's a decision now. It's
Yep.
been decided.
Yep.
So now we're going to roll it out and we're going to defend it. Not only that, we're not just going to not be critics. We're going to be champions of
Oh,
whatever
that's good.
it is. So when we roll it out to the team, hopefully I drop it. Hey guys, let me tell you what's about to happen. Here's what this looks like for us. Here's what we're going to experience. And then Nate King, our operations pastor, is like, "Hey, you know why I love that?
Yeah.
I love that for this reason." And then Jen, our coordinator's like, "Actually, you know what's exciting about that? This, that, and the other." And it's like this momentum.
That's good. See, I like that. I like that you brought that up. It's the circles thing, because then you're gonna bring it up to your old staff, and then you're gonna bring it up to your volunteer leadership. It's stair steps, or circles as we called it. You start with a small
Yes.
circle, and you keep getting into more and more people fit in the circle. We did a similar thing here recently. Of course, we went through a facility. We're in facilities and ministry update, and expansion and all this stuff. And so we did a 2-year initiative, and we rolled it out the same way. It started with the staff, and then it was the board, and then it was the top influence, some of the key influencers of the church, and when lots of one-on-ones, lots of dinners, and I had more caffeine and food in about a 2 or 3 week span, I felt like, than I'd ever had in my life.
That's
I probably could
amazing.
have not drank coffee for a month and still been on a caffeine high after that, but it was just, we rolled that out, and then we finally rolled it out to the church. Like, there was all of these people who were already bought in, and all this excitement, and all
Love
this, and then it was when the time came for the commitment side, it just blew the doors off of what we expected, and it was all because A, God, B, the way you rolled it out, the why, we communicated the why from small circles all the way out to the big circle.
it. Man,
So that's
you got
so
early
good.
adopters. Yeah.
So in that tension of this multi-site, and you're talking about getting to play. I love that you brought up the play thing, because like I talk about that nonstop, like with our team and with other campus pastors. It's like, hey, we're coordinators running a playbook that the head coach already put together for us, right? And so I love that you brought it up that way. It's a good way to look at it as a campus, is we're just coordinators running somebody else's vision, but we're just getting the playbooks down. But there's the tension, and I've served on a central team, so I even more so for me. But there's going to be some of us out there who feel the tension of, like, I don't feel like I speak into the playbook.
Right.
Some maybe not at all. Some maybe not as much as they feel as a like, I don't feel as a campus pastor I'm getting to speak into this.
Fair.
Let's wrestle that. Like, what would we talk? What would we say to that group of guys if we were sitting together saying, "Hey, here's how I would handle that tension." I think it's real.
I think that's real. And exactly. I think I'll start off by saying I've been that guy.
Okay, there you
Probably,
go.
I've been that guy internally wrestling, and we got a high honor culture. So, positive gossip only. You go to the person who could do something about it. But the reality is, you're not going to get asked, "Hey, Mark, weigh in. What is your thought on how we can do this in this next utopian scenario for the
Mhm.
5 years?" So when that happens, man, I think that uh, making sure that you have you're tied to the why. Go back to the why. Bring the team back to the why. Bring the team back to the vision, the mission, what we're doing. And I know that sounds churchy, but it freaking works, man.
If
Like,
it ain't broke, don't
because I think everybody's on the team at this point in the game. We've right people on the bus, they're getting them into the right seats on the bus.
Mhm.
So if you're on the team at this point at our particular church, you're in on the vision. And you're a culture carrier, and you're a builder, and you're an ideal team player, all those things. So if you're in, then we can get me centric pretty quick. That's how we drift. I drift that way. You drift that way. My wife, my kids, our senior pastor probably drifts that way. And that's why we have accountability. We have our circle and our elders. And uh, so I think that making sure that we bring people back to the why, but also just listening. Like, hey, let's talk about it. Tell me what you're thinking about this in appropriate ways,
Mhm.
closed doors and, and little listening sessions. But honestly, if there is a place where I do feel like, there's, hey, dude, this is the wrong decision. I see where we're going. This is the wrong decision. And if I don't have an avenue to give that feedback, something's broke.
Right. No, I agree with that. That's good.
And that's a central, hey, central needs to look at that. Senior leadership needs to look at that. Or it could be a me thing, could be insecurity, could be a bad relationship with my, my
Direct
supervisor
rapport, yeah.
or yeah. So I
That's
think these are
good.
all possibilities.
So I actually was just telling my daughter this, leadership 101 type stuff applies to every person, not just ministry people or people in leadership. It applies to 16-year-olds. But we were talking about, when it comes to those, when you have an issue with somebody or somebody who's above you, right? Like, I've had I'm not I love my lead pastor, and I don't he watches this. I think he watches this. I don't know if he does. Love you. But we have a phenomenal relationship. Like, he mentored me for years before I ever became a pastor. Like, he is the reason I am where I am. And to this day, still very much mentor my life, mentor my marriage, mentor my parenting. We have a phenomenal relationship. But that doesn't mean that we haven't had times of tension to where, we wrestled with some stuff. And what I told my daughter, I said, if I ever have a situation where I'm like, I don't like the way he said that. I don't like the decision that's being made. I don't like whatever. I said, the first thing I do is I sleep on it, unless
Mm,
it's like one of those things that's like a time sensitive. If it's not time sensitive, and most things aren't, if we're being honest, right? Like, most things, if it's not heaven or hell, like, they're not time sensitive. And so I sleep on it. If I wake up the next day and I either lost sleep or I wake up and that's the first thing I'm thinking about, all right, now I probably have a thing. Now I need to probably
mm,
go and have that
that's good.
conversation. I need to go find that doorway and go have that meeting. If I'm not thinking about it, or didn't keep me up at night, then I got to ask myself, is it really, was it a thing, or am I making a thing? And I tell you what, I've made a lot of things. Whenever I woke up in the morning and I got a good night's sleep, and that was not the first thing I thought about. And it took me half the day to figure out, what was I mad about yesterday? Like, I'm sitting over here thinking, like, then all of a sudden I'm very quick to remember, like, nope, that was a Mark issue. Mark had a problem, not the organization, not the church didn't have a problem.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
so I've used that kind of as a tool sometimes. Like I said, as long as it's not time sensitive, and most things aren't, you just take a nap on it, man. Like, if you can sleep and not stress about it, then it's probably not a big deal.
Was it Elijah? Hey, take a nap, get up and
Yeah,
eat,
that's
take
it.
another nap.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
take
When's the
a
last
take
time
out, man.
did I have breakfast today? Maybe I'm just hangry.
Well, I
I
think
don't,
Proverbs 19:11, hang this over a door. This should be my life verse in this season, but it is to one's glory to overlook an offense.
man. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
someone did pee in your Cheerios, man. Don't eat the Cheerios. Just
Yeah.
well, no,
Yeah.
no, that's a bad scenario because I'd be knocking on somebody's door, man.
Well, I mean, yeah, maybe not literal, maybe
Okay,
not literally,
that's
but
the
yeah.
Marine Corps. Don't get any ideas for your boss.
That's right. What's okay? Let's so we've talked about a couple. What's another? So you said, go to the person. We're talking about sleeping on things. Any other? What is another? Maybe we don't have a great relationship with our direct report. And again, I can say these things because I have great relationships with my team. But somebody out there doesn't have a good relationship with, whether it's their LP, their XP, a campus group pastor, regional pastor, whatever you want to call them, those guys, right? There's somebody out there who doesn't have a great relationship. What's another approach for a healthy conflict resolution that they can do for a guy who's out there who's like, man, I just don't know I can go to that guy.
Mm. Yeah, I think a handful of good ideas that are none of these are organic to me, man. All we do is sponge up the amazing wisdom of people around us, but benchmark with somebody else.
Hmm.
Hey, you know what? I hear you. You know who else has walked through this? David over at the other campus.
Mm.
Dude, I'd love for you and David to get some time together and talk about this.
Okay.
Now you need to make sure David's healed. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so, just connecting them with somebody else. We don't have to have all the answers is one option. I think that there's value also in just taking a step back and just spending time with that person because, when there's a flare up of something that's going on outwardly on the body, eczema, but there's
Hmm.
something else internally going on.
Mm.
And I think when we lean into that, we understand if there is a visible frustration, uh, the thing may not be the thing. There's
Right.
always a thing
Oh, that's
underneath,
good.
almost always. So just leaning in and say, "Hey,
What's the deeper issue?
what?" Yeah, because some people will play hurt and some people will play injured. And there's a difference. And if you can, I mean, you can play injured for a short season, but if you try to keep that up, then any little thing that goes the wrong way is bound to cause a break. And then when it seems like, wow, this person is really, they've got a serious issue with this thing. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me. Well, it's probably because they may be playing injured.
We were at a Grow Leader conference last week, and one of the I don't remember which one it was. One of their pastors was it was one of the breakouts. There may have been one of them said it was this really great thing of talking about those conversations, and they said at Highlands they have the tough conversations early. So if there's an issue arising, whether it's up or down, whatever, have the tough conversation early so it doesn't grow. And I know we've talked about that before, where it's like uh those wounds, those things become like cancer, right? And what's cancer do? Well, cancer spreads. And if you're not careful, you let that thing fester, you let that thing grow, and next thing you know, now it's all over, and it's affecting everything you're doing.
Everything.
And so having the tough and it's awkward, right? Like it's not enjoyable, but they're not meant to be enjoyable. Like awkward, tough conversations aren't not everything we do as leaders is meant to be perfect all the time. Like that's not what we're in this for. If people were great all the time, we wouldn't need pastors, right? Like, that's the whole reason of the church is that we have broken people that need Jesus. So we're broken people too, and so we're just as much in need. And so have the tough conversations early. I heard that last week, and that was
That's
really
really
good.
good. First of all, I'm so glad you went to that conference. I went one
They're
time.
so good.
It was dynamite, right?
Those guys are so good.
Dynamite.
Just I love the freedom that they share everything that they do. Like they don't hide anything. And so
That's what it's about.
great wealth of knowledge. And they just went through massive, transition with with their lead pastor, with Chris moving over to the school and Mark Pettis stepping in. And just the way they did that was just so well. How'd you miss that, dude? You hiding under a rock over in Texas or what?
Busy over here, bro.
Well, it helps that we're very connected to these guys, so we watch them pretty closely. But yeah, it was earlier this year. Pettis stepped in as lead pastor, so
Good
congratulations!
stuff.
Shout out to Pastor Mark.
Tag that, brother. Yeah. Hey, what you just said reminded me like, I think it's Groeschel. Leaders pull the thread. So in the area, and man, I've fallen so hard on this one. I've not pulled the thread. What about you? But when I've not done that, it's because I didn't want to eat the frog. I didn't want to do the thing. And
Will Batterson.
take the easy way out. Let's avoid that for now. And then 2 months down the road, 6 months down the road, the team is off kilter
Yep.
on a bad
Yep.
trajectory. And whose fault is that? That's mine because I didn't.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, if that team member or that thing that's not, that I didn't lean into, if I don't, it causes damage. It's then you're doing damage control.
Yeah.
That's
Or
exactly
you're
what
losing,
you're
or
doing.
worst case, you're losing team because
Absolutely.
that's what happens. Like if we, above or below, we have a team member that ends up in a situation like that where they can't feel heard, they can't have communicated, they can't there's this conflict of whatever sort. And man, I tell you what, I've been in situations where I got church members even came to me with something, and it's like I didn't even know I didn't even know that was a thing. That I didn't even know that you were offended by that,
Yeah.
you know? And so we have to be aware, but for those that get offended, like you gotta bring it up because sometimes we don't know. The leadership doesn't know. And so as a campus pastor, if you're XP or LP or whoever you're working with, like they may not know there's an issue. And how are they supposed to address it if they don't know that
Can't.
you've been hurt, offended, or you're not feeling hurt or whatever? Like, how are they supposed to know? And so we gotta lean into that. We gotta humble ourselves and just say, hey, like we are gonna eat the frog. We are gonna have the tough conversation. We are gonna jump into that and just say, hey, you know what, this is better to take care of now than to let it grow. And I've seen that happen even within us, of people who carried stuff for way too long, and next thing you know, they had a laundry list because it just festered into everything else. And it's like,
Mm,
how did how did we start here a year ago, and now you've got a whole laundry list? It's like it just grew. And so
start keeping score.
it's
Yeah,
it's 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 dangerous ground.
that's
All
right.
right, let's we got we got a few more minutes. Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
a couple more minutes.
I get
Did you-
20% on my computer, guys.
You're
I
all right.
can't.
You're set. We're
I'm,
we're good.
I've failed, man.
We're gonna roll through. It'll be all right. So you had another topic, and this kind of hands into the same thing. So let's go to the opposite side. So we've talked about how to handle and deal with some tension and working inside of this what can be multi-site multi-site model from time to time. But I think all in all, it's done well. It's an amazing opportunity that churches have to be in this multi-site. Amazing opportunity to be a campus pastor. But let's talk about how do we prevent that, and let's talk about building those healthy relationships. So let's talk about that. You're specifically about that campus pastor, XP, executive pastor. Like, how are we building these healthy relationships with these guys?
That's great. I think this is an area where if there was a campus pastor school, this would be a top.
I'll write it down. I'll
So
put
it's
that on my list of
XP. There you
things
go.
to
This,
do.
this, this, this is the school. You
I'll
own
get
the
started.
school. You're the founder. I think that you know there's a great book called The First 90 Days, and it escapes me who wrote it, but I have everybody on the team read that as they come. Before they actually get here, I ask them to read it.
Okay.
We're onboarding a new groups pastor right now. Dude's fuego. He's fire. He's going to be great. And so when he shows up, you know what he knows? He knows, hey, the first 90 days, he needs to make sure there's alignment with he and I, and then his dotted lines and all that.
Mm-hmm.
He's focused in, he's locked in on relationships and building relationships. And he knows exactly what to focus in on. So similarly, when we come into a role or we get a new XP or we get a new supervisor at some level, because for us, we have like a handful of XPs that do various things in the industry and organization. And then I have somebody in between me and them. I think we have to just know this, that our job isn't to come to them and ask for things all the time and have them solve our problems. I know this seems basic, but it may be valuable for somebody, right? Like we're supposed to go to them and say, what do you need?
Oh, that's good.
What can I take off of your plate? What areas do you feel like, man, you don't want to handle, that you want to push out and empower somebody else to do? And can I take one of those things? Like our whole role, um, whoever our supervisor is, like their whole job isn't to, I can almost guarantee they have 15 other things that they're locked in on. And so making sure that the campus is functioning and that the plays are being run and that there's growth happening in these key areas. So I think making sure that we go to them, hey, what do you want to hear every time we have a one-on-one? What do you want to know? What's valuable for you? Get a short list, ask them what that is early on. Or if you've already got the relationship going, hey, you know what? I was just thinking about, I want to build better. I want to be more effective. Every time I talk to you, what are the 3 questions that you want me to come ready to answer? What are the 3 data points that you want me to have? They're going to have it. They're
Right.
going to tell you, like, hey, this is, man, if you could just lead with this is the
Mm-hmm.
thing. I need to make sure you're doing this. I need to make sure the teams are healthy. I need to make sure, that whatever it is. And then if we go, just lead up. That's another, I mean, you just have to lead up. I think there's a level of leading self that we always circle back around to. It's Maxwell says the hardest person to lead
Is yourself.
without it.
100%.
Absolutely. I'm the biggest knucklehead, man. I
Yeah.
tell people, Mark, all the time, if my team watches this, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I think that making sure that you have a clear understanding, hey, what is our mission? What are the priorities for my boss? And then, what are your expectations? And then, dude, just try to exceed those expectations.
That's so good because if we're being honest, and if an XP is out here watching this by chance, we love you. But if we're being honest, most XPs they're the process guys, right? Like they're generally wired or have been rewired themselves. Like I was talking with our XP the other day, and that was one of the things he said. Like he rewired himself when he became when he was a youth pastor, he was Mr. People, and then he rewired himself to become an XP. But most XPs are wired that way. They're very like about the system of it. They're about the driving force of keeping the church. Like they're trying to keep the church growing and moving and hitting all these things.
Bless them.
And 100%. Oh, God bless them. Like we need those guys. And so if we can come to them with that mindset, like of saying, hey, as a campus pastor, I'm going to come here and I'm going to come into this meeting. I'm going to come prepared for what they need because they're not, they want to hear the life change story. They're glad that you went over and prayed for the lady's cat that died. Um, they're thankful that you're doing great ministry stuff, but they've also got like they're there to. And again, this is not a knock on these. This is very much this is a how do we lead up? How do we come to these meetings prepared to say, hey, we want to make sure that we're efficient with their time because those guys all got something else to do. But
Man.
but these meetings have to happen, and so we want to take care of those moments. And same thing, like so for us, I meet with our creative arts central team once a week or every other week. I meet with kidsmen, I meet with youth, I meet with next steps, and that way each one of those kind of drivers of the church, like I'm meeting with these guys on a regular basis to check in, make sure things are going well, systems, processes, dotted lines, all those things, right? And so it's like when I come to those, what do they need, right?
Yep.
What is it? And I ask that question. Hey, what do you need from our campus? What is our campus? What is something we need to be doing better? What are we missing? Are we missing the mark on anything? Like I want to make sure because they're writing the playbook, right? These are the guys that are designing this thing. They know it. We're the ones that are just running it, supposed to know it, and screwing it up in the process. So we're the ones that they put warning labels on the playbook for. Um, and so but it's to come to them and say, hey, are we missing something? Like here's all of the data, here's all of our number, here's all of our stuff. And are we missing something? Am I doing something wrong? Like what are we missing on this? Are we just in a spot? Or hey, things are going great, and that's great too, right? And so, but being prepared to have those meetings and meet those people where they're at is
Yeah.
such a good thing. I like that. I like
Love
that.
it.
How do you build that trust? Because there's going to be trust moments, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think that when you, let's just say two scenarios. One is you got a competent, amazing, solid character XP, and it's easy. It's easier.
Fair enough.
Then I think that and competency, reps,
Reps. That's good.
making sure that you're just being consistent over time. Whatever it is they give you, it may seem, I try to tell the team this, man, if I give you something, it may be to go make a copy. It may be to text a person. That is if your boss gives it to you, man, like that is, and you can get clarity. Hey, boss, where's this at? Tier 1? Like
Yep.
now, tier 3, and get clarity. But that's the project. So I think that if they give you something, hey, when can you have this by? Can you work on this? Yes, I can work on this. There's the Eisenhower matrix, right? Important, urgent, significant. So for me, the scale goes like this. There's the urgent. We're always going to have the urgent. Then there's the important stuff. These are the things that take ground. Then there's the significant. And I think that's tier 1. So when the boss says, hey, man, I've really got this thing. Can you spearhead it? Then I'm going to say delegation, delegation, delegation with everything I can. And that's going to be my big thing. So earn that trust in that way. Let's say you have a doof. You got a goober of an XP.
They're not out
An
there, but we'll say that there is.
hypothetical scenario, right? it's just sometimes. Now, listen, I trust that the Lord governs all this, man. So I just want to I trust whoever is in that position. That's just gonna be a thing. But let's just say you don't have the best relational equity with that
There you
person.
go. That's good.
Maybe it's not there for whatever reason. They need to know that you. I mean, whenever somebody comes to you, Mark, on your team who's downline, and they say, "Mark, Pastor Mark, I just want you to know you're doing a killer job. I just want you to know I see you. I just want you to know that what you're doing, you're leading this team well." And not to be disingenuous, but you have to create that honor culture. So if it's not there. I can almost, I would imagine it can't do harm to begin trickling those things in
Right.
and mean it. Like, hey,
Yeah.
hey, David, hey, Pastor David, I know you spend a lot of hours that people don't know about. I just want you to know, man, that gives God glory. And I pray for a sweet rest for your family, and then do it and pray for. uh, there's something that is just magical about praying for your spouse. Hey, I'm praying for Deb. I mean, if somebody says that and names, tell me your oldest daughter's name.
Got Chloe.
Chloe. If somebody says, "Hey, Mark, just want you to know I had Chloe on my heart. And I'm lifting her up right now with the things that she's walking through in school."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
my new best friend.
Yeah.
So we could do that up as well.
Yeah, and I learned a few years back when I became a campus pastor in a community, and there we have some other thriving churches in the area, and and it's natural, you're like, oh gosh, why are they doing so good, and then you got to remind yourself that, oh well, they're the church also. Like let's remember
Mm,
we're on the same team at the end of the day. But one of the other things I learned is when you pray for people, God blesses them. You can't get mad when God blesses them, like right. And so you got to do for an XP. Well, when you pray for him and you pray that God blesses him and you pray that God leads him and guides him, when he comes up with something, you can't get mad about it
mm,
because you just prayed that God would do that, right? You prayed that God would lead him into this new season of whatever you guys are working on. Well, you got to trust that he is being led. I mean, you got to think that he is because his boss hired him, right? Like he hired whoever hired you hired him, possibly, right? There's a good chance that they hired both of you, and and if he thought you were okay, that means he thought he was okay, right? Like, we're talking about judgment skills here. But so if you pray for the guy and say, God bless that but guy above me and everything that he does, bless him in this season, bless him with whatever projects he's got going on. When he brings you the project and says, hey, this is what we're doing, you can't get mad because
that's right.
you prayed that God would give him that. And now you may not have to like it, but you can't get mad. Good.
Nope.
That's good. All right, let's start to roll this thing up. We're coming up on time, a little bit of time here, and I want to keep you. You guys are hopefully finishing up a workout, drive, a meeting, whatever, or a time spot that you had open for me to jump on today. But I want you to leave them with, Jeremy, is two things. First thing is this: what's the one thing if you were sitting across from a new, let's say a new campus pastor, guy just got hired, just got found out he got hired, whatever, what was the one thing you say, hey, campus pastor, you need to know this?
I would say if you're married and if you have a family, this is going to sound so basic and so churchy, but you can't leave your family behind in pursuit of kingdom things. That is your first ministry. So as long as you're married and have kids in your home, nothing outside of that can get in the way. You can't. I don't know who says this, but don't cheat on your bride with the bride of Christ.
Uh-huh. Come on.
It's not mine. I don't remember who said it.
I don't know either. That's good.
And for
I'm
our
gonna give you
spouse,
credit.
like in a no, 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 no,
Hey, I heard Pastor Jeremy say this one time.
hashtags are a thing. For spouses, for years, just to be candid, my spouse struggled with where does she fit in?
No,
What
my wife
kind
still does.
right? Because
We're 3 years in, and she's still trying to figure it out.
God bless them. What a struggle. What a righteous battle that they're in to try to figure out. Because here's what I've found out: different people within the church and in ministry will tell them polar opposite guidance on what to do.
100%.
Some well-intending, godly women and men will say, "Hey, that you were called into ministry, not her." Others will say, You can't draw distinctions. There are no boundaries. And if when you're in ministry, it's your family's, all that's great. That's fine. But at the end of the day, between husband and wife,
Mm-hmm.
parents and kids, you got to figure out what that looks like. And we cannot judge ourselves based off of the homeschooled family who has a different makeup and different experiences, who maybe they're glowing and they're like, man, their kids are just chasing after the Lord. And gosh, why not us? Why? Like, if that's you, my big thing that I hope you take away is this, man, be encouraged. God's got you specifically uh, home, in the household that he's placed you in and over, and you were to steward that. So just be encouraged. Find that place in your time for our spouses who are in that walk right now. In this season, it may look like this. In the next season, it may look totally different. But don't let anybody make you feel guilt or shame for not doing it. You can do as little, you can do as much. You can find your place. Don't get freaked out and pull back and isolate.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I didn't even go there,
I
but we did.
No, that's good. No, I think hey, that is perfect. I've told people before, God invested in marriages before created the marriage before he created his church.
Come on. That's right. That's right.
The very first relationship he ever invested in was a married couple before he ever invested in a church. As ministry leaders, our first investment that God expects from us is our spouse. He gave us our spouse, and
Thank
that's
you,
our
Jesus.
number.
Come on.
Yeah, yeah, and I would say most, if you're not married out there yet, get you one, because life is so much better when you have a spouse that you can lean on. Man, I could not do what I do without my spouse. She is my rock.
Yeah.
So much my rock. Talk about helpmate. When God wrote helpmate, he had my wife in mind, because she is the best. I absolutely love her. She's my everything.
Let me
Couldn't
drop
pass her
Tony
without her.
Evans. Let me drop the Tony Evans as like the anchor.
Yeah, I'll get his book. I got his
Tony
book.
Evans says, outside of your decision to trust Christ, the most important decision you will ever make is who you choose to marry. Dr. Evans.
Hang on. I'm gonna get my daughter real quick. Give me 1 second. If you you do that one more time for me. All right. That was good. Gold. Absolute gold. Second thing, before we sign off, how can they connect with you? What's the best way if somebody wanted to connect with Pastor Jeremy, what's the best way?
Man, let me think through that. I guess, I'll just give you my actual email. And just rip it. Just send me an email. That'd be great. Go to Jeremy.Prather. That's Prather at Lakepoint with an E on the end. Lakepoint.church. Jeremy.Prather at Lakepoint.church. Hit me up. I can send you personal information and Insta talk handles and all that.
Perfect. All right, we'll drop that in the show notes as well. So if you're driving and wasn't able to write that down, don't worry. It'll be in the show notes. You'll be able to find Jeremy's email, and that way you can reach out to him. Jeremy, man, thank you so much for this. This has been such gold. Again, we're here trying to just build community amongst campus pastors, trying to help each other grow. And I know I grew up from this. And so thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your investment into the Campus Pastor Collective. Appreciate you, man. And hopefully we can do this again one day.
Love to, Mark. Thank you, brother.
Right.
Love you, man.
Hey, you too.
Love you.
All right, listeners, thank you. This has been another episode of the Campus Pastor Collective. Have a great day.